Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. You can see that I'm not in my usual backdrop. I'm actually visiting my family in Houston, Texas, and you might actually hear in the background the sound of lawnmowers, which is very different than the sound of snowblowers, which is what I'm used to right now this time of year in Minneapolis where I live. So I'm excited to be here with my family, and I'm really excited to share the transit report with you this week because this is kind of my favorite week of the year, because the energy that always comes around at this holiday time is a sweet, sweet energy and kind of a nice way for us to end our traditional calendar year and move into the next new year. And I think made a little bit extra nice this year because we've got a Mercury retrograde cycle going on at the same time. Anytime we've got Mercury retrograde going on, it's a time for us to go inward. You may hear the stories about don't buy technology now, and make sure if you do that you save your receipts, especially if you're buying stuff for people for Christmas, and that's certainly all true. But Mercury has a different meaning than just the breakdown of technology or the breakdown of communication. Mercury, when it goes retrograde, gives us an opportunity to review. It gives us an opportunity to rectify, align, reassess, and to really make sure that the patterns that we're living out are in alignment for what we want to create for forward momentum, which of course, we're moving towards a new year, so we're all thinking about what are we going to do next year to make it bigger, better, more juicy, more powerful, more etc., right? So before you take that movement forward, we always want to look at, are we aligned? Are we in a good place? Are there things we need to let go of? Is there forgiveness work we need to do? Do we need to take care of ourselves? We kind of have played with that theme off and on all year this year, and certainly in this retrograde cycle, there's an extra added oomph to it because on Sunday, we move into the gate 58 in its solar position, which means this is the biggest, most powerful energy that we are all working with. That gate 58 is joy. And joy in human design is a very interesting energy. We have a tendency to think of joy as being emotional. Happy, 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 joy. The truth is, joy is not emotional at all. The emotional energy center processes different kinds of energies, but it doesn't process joy. Joy is actually part of logical energy in the chart. And what that means is that the joy that we experience comes from the joy of repetition and the joy of mastery and the joy of correcting. If you think about somebody who plays an instrument really well, a musical instrument, there's a joy in the mastery of the instrument, and it takes time and it takes practice and it takes correction and mentoring and getting it right and even making mistakes as part of the learning process. So we've been, we have this entire year from January to the end of December every year where we work and we practice and we have the drive to do and we achieve and we create. This 58 energy that comes up at the end of the year brings us the joy, and it's the joy of mastery. It's the joy that gives us the drive to keep trying, to keep striving, to keep moving towards that thing that's inside of us that brings us the fulfillment, that brings us the mastery of who we are. And it's not sometimes I think when we think about practice and repetition, I think because a lot of times we learned to practice and repeat things. We were forced to practice and repeat things we didn't really want to do. This isn't the drudgery of it, although there can sometimes be drudgery and repetition and correction. But this is recognizing that we are here to be deeply aligned with that which brings us joy. And when we have that joy, it's that joy that gives us the drive to keep getting better and better and better at that expression of who we are. That joy energy, though, isn't just about what we do. It's about being in the moment with our joy. And I think traditionally, at least here in a Christian world, around the Christmas time, there's this energy of gathering around the holidays. There's Hanukkah that begins this weekend as well. So we have this collective aura, at least in this Western world, about being together, being in the holiday season, getting into a position to welcome in the new year. It's a time of family, it's a time of connection, and it's a very sweet energy to have when we are in this time in the calendar year, that joy comes from being present to the people around us, being present to the timing of what we're doing. So I really want to invite you this week to really drop into that essence of the joy of life. What brings you joy? What do you want to keep striving towards and working towards and creating joy around? What do you want to do that really brings you joy in every area of your life? And I really want you, as your homework assignment for this week, to relentlessly and passionately pursue that which brings you joy. To do it unapologetically. Don't get in your head about, is this going to bring me money, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about that. Just do what brings you joy. This is a breathing space. This is a pause in the creative cycle of the year. This is a place where we're gearing up, to move into the energy of seeding what we want to create in the next year. And to do that, we have to be fully present to what brings us joy, because we're supposed to create things that bring us joy. We're not supposed to create things that make us suffer. We're not supposed to create compromise even. We're supposed to do the things that make our souls soar. So there's that piece. Now, a couple of other quick things. Got to check my list here. We have movement in the nodes starting also this weekend, moving into the Christmas holiday again, or the Hanukkah holiday. The nodes have been sitting in the 4037 for a long time, for a big chunk of the year. That 4037 has given us the energy of willpower, and it's given us the energy for community, and it's given us the energy for sustainability. We have been in training through the nodes to learn to trust that we will be fully supported even when we stop to nurture ourselves and take care of ourselves. We've also been given a little extra oomph in the willpower department to do what we want to do, to go out and make it happen, to make those connections, to do the work that's necessary to create sustainable resources. That energy also, as I talked about last week, may have left you feeling a little bit tired. Burnout is a secondary theme of that particular channel. There can be burnout there, particularly when you're not, or you haven't been taking consistent cycles of rest and renewal. So that energy goes away, and actually I suspect that for many of us it's actually going to create a lightening, a sort of an easing of that pressure, that willpower pressure that some of us have been under, and that pressure to feel like I gotta have enough, I gotta make enough, I gotta put enough aside. I think you'll see some easing in that. We move from the 4037 into the 55 and the 59, which is impact and abundance, and it's abundance in spirit. So thematically, in a way, it's moving into a higher expression of that same energy. The 4037, which is what we've been working with all year, asks of us to trust that when we let go and nurture ourselves and surrender, it asks us to trust that we will be sustained and have everything we need. The 55 kind of asks of us the same, only the 55 is definitely not associated in any way with pushing or will. It's associated with being in the right vibrational alignment with spirit as source. So it's a deepening of faith. It's a deepening of our capacity to trust that when we let go, we will be given all the resources, all the support, all the connections, all the energy, all the everything we need to create what we want to create. And that theme is going to drive us for the next couple of months. So again, training wheels are on. We are getting trained to master our faith, to trust that when we pursue our joy, when we stay aligned with the right vibrational alignment with spirit as source, we will be given everything we need to create when we want to create. There's a lot of energy still playing around with the 51 in Uranus. That is the energy of shock and the unexpected happening in the planet of the unexpected. I think sometimes we forget that unexpected things can also be unexpectedly good. They can be unexpectedly joyful. So I do want to invite you this week as we close out the year and get ready to move into 2017, that you stay open to the potential expectation or the positive expectation or this certain expectation that unexpected, good, joyful things are on their way to you, and you stay open and prepared and aware and curious and in a state of wonder to see what beautiful things are going to be delivered to you as the trajectory of the planets and the blessings of the celestial weather unfold for you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend if you're celebrating this weekend. Take good care of yourselves, stay in your joy, be uncompromising, and I will talk to you next week.